a smart approach to building better teams. We are so glad that you're here that we can share with you our proven, straightforward method for building better teams. First, let me tell you a little bit about us, Ron and Jerry Swingle. Yeah, that's us there in the photo, leaning into one another. That's something we've learned over our 40 years plus together. Hidden Treasure Coaching and Consulting is really the culmination and combination of our individual lifelong work. And the mission statement that we have is to help individuals, married couples, and teams fulfill their mission by coaching and facilitating them to excel above and beyond their limitations. Ron comes from the world of management consulting. One of his passion areas has been working with teams, bringing best practices to newly forming teams as well as teams who are struggling or stuck. Ron brings over 25 years of experience working with teams of all sizes, from huge organizations such as ExxonMobil to small churches and nonprofits. Part of his success is due to his very practical, straightforward approach to team development. My area of expertise is coaching, previously as a personal trainer with my own business for over a decade, and since then as a life coach, working with leaders and teams to overcome their roadblocks and achieve higher levels of performance. Over the past decade and a half, I've coached and assessed a lot of executive leaders, church leaders, and people from a wide range of professions looking to have fulfilling lives by living out of their strengths and passions. Putting our expertise together, in this video, we'd like to share our knowledge and experience to help you build your new team in the right way or get an underperforming team onto a healthy, high-performing track. You may be wondering, well, is this video for me? Is this something I need? Well, if you're a board member or executive sponsor who oversees a team and have some concerns about how it's going, or maybe you're a team leader who's going to start a new team or is running a team now and know that the team's not producing as it should. Or maybe you're a team member. You're on a team right now and you have some concerns. In any of those cases, this video is for you. We know your time is valuable, so I'd like to answer the question you're probably thinking, why should I watch this video? Well, because our vast experience has taught us what the real levers are that drive team performance. Also because our combination of both coaching and consulting skills hits both the soft and hard issues that teams face in the real world. And probably best of all, because we've worked with hundreds of teams, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can take advantage of the experience, tools, and unique skill set we already have so you can get started on improving your team today. So sit tight because Ron is coming on now to show you how you can make a positive difference in your team today.
Building better teams consists of 5 essential elements that are foundational to the team's success. We call it our SMART approach. S is for stages of the team, M is for measuring the process, A is for assessing skills, R is for writing a charter, and T is for training team roles. Let's bring you up to speed on each one of these items. The first element in building better teams is S, stages of the team. Research would show that teams go through a predictable set of stages. There are 4 of them: forming, storming, norming, and performing. But some get stuck along the way. In other words, they never get to the performing stage. Let's take a brief look at each one of the stages. The forming stage is the first stage. It's when people come together in a new team and everyone is on their best behavior. We call it the honeymoon period. Some other attributes of this stage are people on the team desire to be accepted, conflict is avoided, people are gathering impressions of each other and how they fit with each other, and team members behave independently. This is a very pleasant time, but not much gets done. The storming stage is next. This is the uncomfortable stage. Conflict happens here. The team has moved from the pleasant stage to the conflict stage. Things you may see in this stage: different ideas compete, discussions are contentious, not pleasant like in the forming stage, and authority is challenged. And the most important thing about the storming stage is you can get stuck here. Remember this because we'll come back to it. The norming stage is the third step. Norming is where the team decides to all get on the same page. It's when they are upset enough about storming to do something about it. Attributes of norming are the entire team agrees on one goal. The team agrees on a mutual plan. All team members take responsibility, and all team members participate. It takes strong, mature leadership to pull a team through the storming stage and into norming. Finally, the performing stage. How do you know if your team is performing? The job gets done smoothly and effectively. Team members become interdependent. There is little need for supervision in this stage. In fact, the team leader becomes a coach or a mentor, and the team makes most of the decisions. The first key thing you need to do is understand where is your team in this life cycle? Which stage are they currently in? Forming, storming, norming, or performing? Later, we're going to show you a great self-assessment tool to help you determine which stage your team currently resides. Now let's look at the second step in our team approach, the SMART process, the M, measuring the process. Many organizations measure teams based on their desired outcomes, increasing something, reducing something, and so on. But most organizations do not measure the team process. How is the team getting to their objectives? Let's talk about measuring team performance. There's really two elements of measuring team performance. One is the traditional way, looking at the outcomes that the team produces. Goals achieved, measured results. But there's a whole nother set of metrics around the team process. How well are they getting to the outcomes? And those metrics are different. They're measured by things like participation. Is everybody on the team participating? Contribution. Is everybody on the team making a contribution? Emotional health. How do people feel about being on the team? And synergy. People working together. So it's not good enough to just measure the outcomes or the results of the team, but it's also important to measure how the team gets there. Measuring the team process helps you know how well the team is really doing. A broken team can still produce results, albeit substandard. However, they take longer and there can be damage along the way. Once you understand what stage your team is in, do you have measurements in place to see how the team is doing to both their outcome goals and their process goals? Now let's look at the third step in our SMART process, A, assessing skills. When we talk about skills, we're really referring to how people are wired, their strengths as well as their inherent challenges that they face. The set of glasses they wear to see and filter life experiences and people interactions. Just like a basketball coach looks at his players and determines their best position, a rebounder, a dribbler, a three-point shooter, a defensive specialist, and so on, teams consist of members who are best suited for certain roles. Let's carry the basketball example a little further. Let me give you attributes of a player and see if you can discern what role that person would be suited for. For example, he's 7 foot tall, he jumps really high, he plays very physical, and he likes to play under the basket. That person typically would be a good rebounder, not necessarily a point guard or a shooter. Okay, one more. Here's somebody who's got great shot form, loves scoring points, can jump over the defense, and has a really large range, can hit baskets from anywhere. That person would be a great shooter. Okay, let's apply this to your team. Here's some attributes. Curious, loves research, analytical, knowledgeable. What role could she play on your team? Here's another one. Take a shot at this one. This person's a great organizer. They're a great administrator. They take charge and they really seek results. They love to get results. What role could she play on your team? Okay, last one. This person's a perceiver, frank, direct, comfortable with confrontation. What role could he play on your team? So when you think about different roles on your team, who's the strongest change agent amongst your team members? Who's naturally gifted to make sure the team gets results? Who is best suited to caring about how the team's decisions might affect others? We use an assessment tool to help each team member better understand their own wiring, and then work with teams to make sure people are in the best position to take advantage of that wiring, just like in basketball. Let's look at the fourth step in our SMART process, the R, writing a charter. A charter is an essential document that describes everything about what the team is going to be doing. The team leader develops a charter and presents that to the team sponsor. A sponsor is typically somebody like an executive or possibly a senior pastor or a board member. The sponsor reviews all the elements of the charter, and when they are in agreement, they approve the charter. This approval process, it's what gives the team leader the authority to go make it happen. That's how the team gets empowered. And along the way, as the team is progressing, the team leader communicates progress to the sponsor on how the team's doing towards that charter. The team charter is a critical document. It outlines all of the aspects of the team, their goals, the roles, the ground rules, the timeline, and so on, all in a concise 2 to 3 page document. In essence, it's the blueprint of the team. And every member of the team has input to the charter and signs the charter to express their agreement and commitment. A few questions for you to consider. Does your team have a written charter? If so, has it been signed by all the team members? And has it been approved by the executive sponsor? Let's look at the last step of our process. T, training team roles. On teams, there are some basic roles, the team leader and team members. There are also some other necessary roles, such as timekeeper, recorder, administrator. But our experience shows that 2 key missing roles for team success are the executive sponsor and the team facilitator.
Thank you, Ron, for explaining our proven, straightforward, SMART approach. So are you ready to start building a better team? If you're watching this video, we believe you are ready. And chances are your team is stuck in storming, since you recognize the need for learning more about how to build a better team. If you recall, the S in the SMART approach refers to the stages of a team. Do you remember when we said we were going to show you an easy and effective tool to help you determine in which stage your team currently resides? Well, believe it or not, we have a 99-cent tool that can take you through the first step to getting your team unstuck and moving through storming successfully to the calmer norming stage, and on your way to experiencing the high-performance team that is possible. Yes, that's right. For the investment of 99 cents and 5 minutes of your time, you can set a new trajectory for your team today. Our effective and easy tool is a survey of questions about your team that will take you about 5 minutes to complete. And you will know where your team is in the stages of team development. That foundational information is invaluable and essential for building a better team, for seeing your team's performance higher than it's ever been. As simple as it sounds, it is truly simple. For 5 minutes and 99 cents, you can complete the first step in our SMART approach to building better teams. You don't have to guess at where your team is, and you don't have to read a book or do internet research to discover what stage your team is in. That's because we've done the work and the reading and the research, and we have the experience. Remember, identifying the stage of development your team is currently in is the essential starting point to progress. Once you have this foundational information, you can move on in building a better team where all members thrive, resulting in higher productivity and performance. You can affect positive change in the future of your team today. Download the simple and quick survey tool for 99 cents, and in 5 minutes, you can checkbox the first step in our smart approach to building better teams. Click the Get Survey Now link to begin.